Dream Warriors, welcome back to another episode of a podcast on Elm Street. I am Mark.
And Brooke.
And this is week 4 of our March musicals. Got to remember there's 5 weeks in March.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah, so we still have one more after this one. But this week, we're going to be talking about Repo, the Genetic Opera from 2008.
Yeah. You got to put that emphasis on the repo.
Yeah, it's another one with an exclamation.
Yeah.
I don't know how we even came about picking this one. I think it was just kind of there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a movie.
Yep.
Before we dive into this one, what have you been up to this past week?
So this past week I watched quite a bit. Not going to go through all of them, but I watched a Nicolas Cage movie called Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, it is terrible. Actually, it also has Bill Moseley in it.
Nice.
But it is so bad, but my God, it is hilarious. Like, it's just so over the top, and Nick Cage is so ridiculous. And it was a fun watch, but it is not a good movie.
My buddies and I at work were talking about him the other day, saying like how he'll literally take on any role anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like him and Bruce Willis are kind of in the same boat, but Bruce Willis is still kind of taking on like the cop dramas, whereas Nicolas Cage is just so fucking all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. I finished watching all the Purge movies.
Nice.
So I watched 4 of them. So I watched Election Year, the first Purge, and the Forever Purge. So 3 of them.
Nice.
All first watches for me. I think the Purge franchise, I think, is solid. I think it's a good franchise. Like, they're not amazing movies, but I mean, they're good enough to throw on, once a year or so.
Yeah. Did you you rank them on Letterboxd, right?
I did, yeah. So I have the Purge Election Year as my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah, I know. The first original Purge, second, then Purge Anarchy, then the Forever Purge, and then the first Purge last.
Really?
Like the first Purge is
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad movies. Like, even the first Purge, the 4th installment, isn't like a bad movie. It's just not as good as the others. I think like maybe they should have redone the way they released them, because it does kind of get confusing. Especially
like right now.
Especially if you haven't seen any of like say you just like, oh, I'm gonna watch, Election Year first or something like that. I think they should change the order up a bit.
So is it what would be your suggestion on orders to watch it? Like the first Purge, I'm assuming first.
Yeah, probably the first Purge, and then like maybe the Purge Anarchy, Purge Election Year, and then the Purge, and then the Forever Purge, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, very solid franchise.
Nice.
And I also watched a movie on Shudder called The Seed. It's a kind of body horror alien movie.
Yeah.
Was not what I was expecting. I was expecting this kind of crazy like alien, body horror, but it kind of wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't like there wasn't really any like villain in it, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
I liked it a lot still, but it was I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. I thought the like three characters, they were just like playing their parts so well. Like the two girls are just, into Instagram and stuff, and then once they lose their cell phones, they're like, "Well, I need to take a picture. This is like prime views." I just thought it was funny. I also have been watching the Star Wars movies, so I watched a couple of those. I watched another Shudder movie called Hellbender.
Mm,
I really enjoyed it. It was kind of a witch movie,
yeah.
but it kind of took it a different way. So I liked the way they kind of spun it on its head.
I wanted to watch that one, but I read some of the reviews and like normally people on Shutter are all like, "Oh, this is a 5-star movie" when it's shit.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the reviews on this one were like, "This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen," and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like
No,
if people on Shutter are saying this,
it's not that bad, I don't think.
okay,
No.
I'll check it out then.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool, cool.
What about you?
I also watched The Seed. I also enjoyed it. Yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I was definitely expecting like the faculty sort of thing is kind of what I was picturing it as. But yeah, it wasn't that at all. I watched another one on Shutter called I Am a Ghost.
Okay.
Uh, it was a very cool concept and I liked it. But it was also very boring. But like I really enjoyed the concept of it and I thought it was like a cool take on like a ghost story. But it was really slow. It was only 74 minutes, but it felt a lot longer. I took your recommendation and watched Waves.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good. Very,
Yeah.
very good. That was two uh tugging on the heartstrings movies in like a week that I had watched.
Yeah.
Between that and the Fallout. But yeah, it was really good. And I am also going through a franchise watch, but I'm doing Hellraiser. Oh, I did miss one. I was saying to you before we started that I was missing a movie. So I watched the first 4 Hellraisers, and I am
Yeah.
halfway through the 5th one. I have about 15 minutes left of the first one. They're getting worse as I go through them. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
just adding the 4th one to my thing on Letterbox. Yeah, they're getting worse as they're moving on, and the 5th one like doesn't even feel like a Hellraiser movie. It's more like a cop psychological thriller. Like I just saw Pinhead for the first time in the movie, and I have like 15 minutes left. So it's
Really?
like, yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
But so far it's not my least favorite one of the franchise. But yeah, I will have that.
How many of them have you seen before? Like, have you only seen the first one before?
I've seen the first 2, and then I saw Hell World, which was like the video game one. Um, and then I think I've watched the one from 2018, but I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on that whenever I watch it again for this one. But
Okay.
I feel like I've watched it, but I don't know if I actually have or not. But yeah, they're releasing a remake of the original one this year, I
Yeah, I
think, or
saw
next
that.
year. So I kind of wanted to go through them all. It's not like obviously Pinhead is a super well-known horror icon, but like as a franchise, it's not a very popular franchise. It doesn't seem like not a lot
No,
of people talk about
no.
it the way that they do with like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and Scream and all those, Halloween. But yeah, I mean, going through it this time, I can understand why. Because the movies get real shitty. But yeah, other than that, that is it.
Very nice.
There's a lot of shows that I've been looking at, but have not bit the bullet on starting.
Okay.
Like, I really want to watch that one that you and Jess were talking about, uh, the roommate, World's Worst Roommate.
Yeah.
I really want to watch that. And there's a few other ones, but
Yeah, I'm at a point, I never usually like this, but I'm like watching, I think, 3 or 4 shows where I like caught up on the current season.
Holy shit.
So yeah, I watching Severance, Super Pumped, Winning Time, and I think that might be it. It might be one more, but yeah.
Nice. So many shows.
Yeah.
So little time. All right, man. If that's it, I'm good.
I'm also good.
All right. Like we said in the intro, this week we are talking about Repo, the genetic opera from 2008. Before we do, what are you drinking this week, Brooke?
So I am out of beer.
Uh-oh.
Actually, that's a lie. Our HelloFresh box, they sent 2 Heineken with it.
What?
Yeah, but it's non-alcoholic.
Oh.
So I was gonna have that, but I was like, I can't have a non-alcoholic drink. So
That's
I'm
cheating.
just drinking my peanut butter whiskey cola again.
Very nice. I need to try that. I'm drinking one of my favorite beers, my Flying Monkeys, 12 Minutes of Destiny. 12 Minutes to Destiny, sorry.
Very nice. Hey, speaking of that, are you reusing that Flying Monkeys one that I got from Barry?
No, I still have it, but I'm not like I haven't refilled it or anything. Yeah, because I think you'd have to take it to the brewery. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't want to just fill it up with like cans of beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very good now that we're recording video, this is what it looks like. And if you're in Canada, I highly suggest you go and buy it because it's very good.
Very tasty.
Yes. All right, let's get into this movie. Starting off with the synopsis. A worldwide epidemic encourages a biotech company to launch an organ financing program similar in nature to a standard car loan. The repossession clause is a killer, however. Ooh, nice little play on words.
The writers and makers of this movie had to speak up after Repo Man was released.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do remember that.
Because I guess like a bunch of fans and stuff thought like they were like ripping them off and stuff like that. And the director and writer like had to speak up and be like, no, like there's no beef between us. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like I do remember that. This movie was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, whatever. He did Saw 2, 3, and 4 and Spiral from the Book of Saw. He also did Tales of Halloween, Abattoir, and Mother's Day.
That's not like the Mother's Day from back then, is it?
No. The one from 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mother's Day. That'd be a fun one to do, like the original one.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
That movie's fucking wild. It stars Alexa Pina Vega, who was actually just Alexa Vega back then. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
That's my Alexa upstairs. What the fuck is she saying?
She's still going.
I know. I need to tell Sarah, shut that off. Oh, it's the Alexa in her salon. Okay, she's done now. That was weird.
Did she hear you talking and just like spewed some random facts?
She must have. I don't know what she was saying, but she was going to town. Holy shit. Anyways, what I was saying is Alexa Vega and her husband, I think his name is Carlos Pina. So they combined both of their last names and both of them are now Pina Vega.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Kind of weird, kind of cool. That's like next level, like having the same Facebook profile as your spouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, she played Shiloh in the movie. She is obviously most known for her role in the Spy Kids franchise. She was also in Nashville, Sin City, Machete Kills, and From Prada to Nada.
Is she not the same girl from Arrested Development? Or do they just look alike?
No, they kind of look like, I guess, but
yeah,
no, it's not the same one.
Yeah, I was like doing some research on this, and reading through some interviews, and the director cast her and another girl who you'll mention in a sec, I'm sure, to try and get them like away from their like personas. So like he didn't want Vega known as, the girl from Spy Kids, and he didn't want the other girl known as, the bimbo blonde who's just, has blonde hair and can sort of sing.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Next up, I have Paul Sorvino, who played Rotti Largo. He's in Goodfellas, The Rocketeer, Nixon, Godfather of Harlem, Mambo Italiano, and Bulworth, and like 178 other movies.
Yeah, he's in a lot.
Yeah, very recognizable face, very well-known actor. But yeah, I have another comment about that shit.
Yeah.
Anthony Head played Nathan, or spoiler alert, the Repo Man. He is most known for, to me anyways, as what's the name, Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Batman, Gotham by Gaslight, he played Alfred. Ted Lasso, which is a show that we are big fans of.
Yeah.
Dominion and Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. And lastly, I have Bill Moseley, who plays Luigi Largo, and he is in pretty much every fucking Rob Zombie movie out there. Night of the Living Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. We have talked about him a lot in the recent months, so they're doing too much of a deep dive with his repertoire.
I actually have some information about him later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a real life Repo Man.
Yeah.
My honorable mentions, I have Paris Hilton, who is the blonde bimbo that you have previously mentioned, who can somewhat sing, if you want to call it that. And I also have Sarah Brightman, who played Blind Mag.
Yeah.
And she is a world-renowned opera singer.
Yeah.
And she was actually only cast in the movie because the original actress that they had was too high of a budget or something like that. So they brought Sarah Brightman on because she was cheaper.
Yeah.
And likely more talented. I mean, she's a fucking world-renowned opera singer. I don't know.
Yeah, they really wanted her and the guy that plays Nathan in the movie.
Anthony Head.
Yeah, Anthony Head, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got. I don't know if you had anybody or
the guy that plays the grave robber, he's also the co-writer of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was also in the Repo Man suit at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. That guy looked familiar, but
yeah,
I don't know. Anywho, that's all I got.
Cool.
We can jump into the movie discussion.
Let's do it. Yeah, so this was a first watch for you, I think, right?
Correct.
And first thoughts without giving too much away?
It was interesting.
Yes.
I liked the thought of it.
Okay.
It's a cool premise. Cool premise.
Yeah. As a musical though, like how did you think it kind of stacked up to some of the previous ones?
No.
That we've watched? No?
No.
Not a fan?
No. I go a little more in depth in my review, but yeah. This is a movie that should have either been on stage.
Yes.
Or not a musical.
Yeah. Because I was reading an interview with the co-writer Terrence Zadunik. He's the one that plays the grave robber.
Yeah.
And also with the director there, and this was like kind of a passion project for him. He's always loved musicals and stage plays, and he actually this movie took him 9 years to make.
Holy, and here I am shitting all over it.
Yeah. Because he didn't want to compromise on anything with any of the producers or any of like the the real men behind that have the money, I guess I should say. Um, because like he didn't want to have like any like A-listers in it.
Excuse me?
Huh?
He didn't want to have A-listers in it? Look who's in this movie.
Yeah, because so he didn't want to have A-listers because for the feel of this movie and the look, like the weirdness and stuff, like if they cast Tom Cruise in it, like it
Okay.
wouldn't work.
But it's not like they got little known actors. Like they have fucking Paris Hilton. She was at the peak of her existence in
Yeah.
2008. Like
Yeah.
A Night in Paris had just dropped.
Yeah.
That stupid ass reality show was on
Yeah.
TV still. She was like the most pop. She was the Kardashians of 2008.
I don't think he means like A-list, like celebrities, like A-list actors. Like you're not gonna fucking cast Brad Pitt or
Okay.
like Cameron Diaz in this
Mm-hmm.
kind of movie. Like it just wouldn't fit what he wanted.
Okay.
And so yeah, he wouldn't compromise on anything. So the producers actually wanted to bring in a couple bands to write music, and he denied them.
Okay.
Want to take a guess as to which bands the producers at that time may have wanted?
2008. Foo Fighters?
No.
Are they rock bands?
One is, and one is he has a rock band, but he's kind of his own thing.
Rob Zombie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who's the other one? Who's a big rock band back then? I don't know.
Yeah. So the producers wanted to bring in Blink 182 and Rob Zombie.
Really?
Yeah. But he said no because he wanted to write his own music. And oddly enough, Avril Lavigne almost came on board to write music for this movie.
Jesus.
But he also said no. And so
I feel like he maybe should have accepted that offer.
Avril Lavigne?
No, just the director.
Oh, the director, yeah. Yeah, and he wanted this movie to feel like a musical, like it was actually on a soundstage. So I guess that this movie or this play has 64 songs.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah. Which I think that is a little over the top.
Well,
like the producers and stuff, they wanted to have like more dialogue and some like back story, but he said no, like I don't want more talking in it, which we kind of touched in. Like I think Sweeney Todd did a great job at that aspect of not having much talking.
But with Sweeney Todd, I'm jumping way ahead. With Sweeney Todd, all of the actors in that movie could sing, except for Alan Rickman, which we discussed.
Yeah.
The actors in this movie can't sing worth a shit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's maybe, apart from Blind Meg, who she's an actual singer, but I think there's maybe 2 or 3 I think are good singers. Like I think Shiloh does a good job in some songs.
Some songs, yes.
I think the Grave Robber, I just like his tone that he went for, which he does say like he was going for kind of like a David Bowie kind of look.
Yeah.
And fun thing I learned today. So the interviewer thought that it reminded him of a band called where is it? Oingo Boingo.
Okay.
Which is where is it? Oh, Danny Elfman's band.
Oh, I didn't know that was Danny Elfman's band.
You've heard of Oingo Boingo?
Yeah, man, I guarantee you know at least one of their songs.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of like the band name, but yeah, apparently that's Danny Elfman's old band.
Oh, that's really cool.
That he started it with. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I think The Grave Robber, I liked his singing in it, and then I think Anthony Head did a good job as well.
Sometimes,
Okay, yeah,
for me, anyways, for me.
yeah,
The thing that I didn't like about this soundtrack is like, yeah, there's 64 songs in the movie, but like there will be songs where one person's singing and the other person's talking, and that was really, I don't know, I didn't like it. And then like they would just randomly say like one word of speaking and then they would turn it into a song,
yeah,
and it was kind of all over the place, and I don't feel like they did the songs as good as they did on Sweeney Todd with the zero dialogue.
yeah, yeah. I think there was just too many like singing parts they were trying to get.
Yeah, it yeah, like a lot of the singing parts felt like it was forced. Like, okay, we're making a musical,
Yeah.
so like we're gonna force all these songs into you.
Yeah, like the one song which we didn't even mention, the cameo, but the one song we get fucking Joan Jett showing up.
Yeah.
And that song, like this, she's talking about she's 17. It's
Mm-hmm.
like just the transition to that was like so random, and
Yeah.
it just felt way out of place.
Yes.
So yeah, I get what you're saying with that.
Um, this movie is actually the middle movie of a trilogy that they have plans on creating,
Mhm.
which I thought was cool. Well, cool in a sense, because I'm not a huge fan of this movie, but it would be interesting to see, like, let's just say they made it this year, 13 years later, 14 years later, how they would make it now.
Yeah, yeah. And we got to give a pass to Bill Moseley because obviously he's not a singer, but he was the first one that they wanted to cast in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Bill actually is a Yale graduate, which is
Mm-hmm.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And he had a horror movie film society that him and his buddy made in when they were in Yale.
Hmm.
So they would like go and watch movies in the library and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they went on like a big tangent and stuff, but he said that he like never gets recognized like on the streets and stuff because like his characters, like long hair or
Mm.
whatever. And he said every time he was out with Sid Haig, Sid would always get recognized and they'll be up, come up to him and be like, "Hey, are you Cousin Spalding?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is Otis." And they're like, "What?" And then yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so the basic premise of this movie is like in 2056 there's an epidemic of organ failures, and this company GeneCo, basically they do organ repossessions. They basically, like, it's like car insurance. You basically they lend you out an
Mm-hmm.
organ, and then you just make payments on that, and then whenever you can't make payments they send the Repo Man to come get their their
to
organs back.
to extract the organs.
Yeah, so I think it's a really cool premise.
Yeah, it is definitely.
And I could probably see it happening, and I did read that it actually did happen. So China did it for a number of years.
Go figure.
They would take the organs out of dead prisoners, and then they would sell it to the States.
What the fuck? Oh my
Yeah.
god, man. That's insane. Wow.
Where do you think we are in the world in this movie? Or do you think it's kind of like its own kind of made up world?
I was getting like serious, like big city vibes, like Manhattan, but like
Yeah.
dirtier, or like
Yeah.
LA kind of thing.
It was kind of hard to tell because like the CGI, especially like in the beginning or like outside, it's just not good at
Yeah, it
all.
looks like shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely like a big city vibe with like lots of lights and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the family that runs it is the
Largos.
yeah, Largos. So you have Roddy the dad, Amber the daughter, Luigi, and who's it? Shivi?
Um,
Is that his name? Shivi?
Pavi.
Javi, yeah. Javi.
I have a question.
Yes.
So Largo, like the family, they're obviously like Italian, like
Yeah.
Roddy Largo, Luigi Largo, Pavi Largo. Amber changed her name to Amber Sweet,
Yeah.
but Pavi is the only one with an Italian accent
Yeah, that's
and
true.
like very prominent, like
Yeah.
exaggerated
Yeah.
to a point where
Well,
it's
in the
ridiculous.
interview, he is a ridiculous character, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in the interview I read, Bill asked, or no, the guy asked Bill, like, who's your mother? Because in this movie,
Uh,
like, there's no mothers in this movie, really,
mhm.
right? Because they all, Nathan's wife dies, and then you don't really find out who, like, the kid's mother is.
Yeah.
So, like, possibly that they're all different mothers, I think, because it seems like Roddy is kind of, the man of money, so he's probably
Mm-hmm.
slept around, had many wives,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that maybe they just have different mothers,
Maybe,
possibly.
yeah. Yeah. Pavi is probably my favorite character in the movie, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's fucking. I thought he was funny,
Yeah, yeah.
just over
Um,
the top, very
very over
eccentric.
the top, yes. Because in the interview they talk about corruptible masculinity in the movie.
Okay.
Because obviously Nathan he's basically killing his daughter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
his wife died, so that's all he has left is Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
And so him not wanting to lose his daughter, he's kind of forced to do these terrible things to her.
Yeah, it's like basically Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like same with Roddy, like, you don't know who the kid's mom is, and then he was with Nathan's wife, or I guess they almost got married, and then somehow that got split up, and he's kind of uses his power for this company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and Shiloh has like a terminal sickness. She has like some blood disease, is what her dad says.
Yeah.
Um, and then they get this drug called Zydrate, which is basically like a painkiller,
Mm-hmm.
but they get it from, I guess, the dead bodies.
Well, that's how like the grave robber gets it, but is that how Gene Co gets it too? Or does Gene Co like
I
manufacture it?
think
Because they're always
they
talking.
must get it from him,
Well, because they're
because at the
always
one song later on, Amber like knows him, and like she gets her Zydrate from him,
who's him?
the grave robber.
Oh yeah. Well, because Gene Co manufactures it or they distribute it anyways. Like they have a legal version of it,
Yeah.
whereas what the grave robbers do is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And one of their songs mentions that it's like the purest form or something like that because they get it straight from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was wondering. Like it, so if they're saying that theirs is the purest form, then Gene Co either A manufactures it or B does extract it from dead bodies, but they, I don't know, cut it with other shit like you would with like cocaine.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know though.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so the backstory is that Marnie, who was Nathan's wife, she was pregnant with Shiloh. She got really sick, and then Nathan was trying to make a cure for her,
Mhm.
and she ended up dying. And he thinks that she killed, or that he killed her, but really it was Roddy had poisoned the cure because he wanted to get back at her for leaving him for Nathan.
Yeah, and
And
throughout Nathan's like the rest of Nathan's life, Roddy has been saying that like you killed her.
yeah,
And he's
and
like using that as like a leash on him.
yeah. But why does he get him? Like, how does he get Nathan to be the Repo Man? Because he's not usually using it as blackmail, is he?
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
Okay.
Because there was one song where the two of them were singing together, and Nathan kept saying like I killed my wife, and then Roddy was saying it as well. And then I think it was blackmailing Nate, like Roddy was blackmailing Nathan so that Roddy wouldn't tell Shiloh what really happened or
Oh,
what
okay.
he has said has really happened.
Right. That makes sense. Makes sense. But yeah, Roddy is like basically he's kind of like the judge in Sweeney Todd. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's just so powerful. He's like above the law, basically. Like he pretty
Yeah.
much runs the cops or whatever they are in this movie. Um, and like he has blind Meg, like
Mm-hmm.
he's forcing her to sing for him because she was blind at one time and she gave her like fake eyeballs
Mm-hmm.
or implants or whatever.
Her eyes are fucked. They're
Yeah,
like
they are.
robotic eyes. They're cool looking, but they're
Yeah.
really weird looking because it's like shitty CGI. But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they would be cool.
Mhm. Um, I love the one song, the introduction song with the three kids, and
Mm.
just like the random line from Ravi when he's like, "My brother and sister should fuck." It's like, what the fuck? Uh, fuck. And then like Luigi, who's Bill Mosley, is just like cutting people all the time and
Mm-hmm.
killing people. Like they, all three of them, kind of want to get Jinko.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of like fighting with each other. They all really hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Amber's like addicted to surgery. She just can't stop having surgery.
Yeah, which in turn makes her addicted to that drug,
Yeah, Zydrate.
Zydrate.
Yeah. Mhm. But I think like her character is a real representation of society these days.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Constantly trying to look better.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. You know.
This whole movie can be like somewhat of an ode to that in a sense. Well, I mean, a lot of the people are getting organ transplants because they're sick, but then there was a lot of people like at the end where the grand opera is, like a lot of people that are in the stands are getting up and singing what Gene Code did for them, and a lot of those people were like, it was all aesthetic stuff. Like it wasn't
Mhm.
like the one woman like flashed her whole body, and she's just like, ah, I look great because of Gene Code.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think we could definitely get there in the future in real life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what else we got here? Yeah, you find out that Meg was Marnie's best friend as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, there was like a few good songs in this movie that definitely stood out, but then they kind of just all did blend together quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else?
This movie was very hard to like after I finished it, I was like, I don't know how we're gonna talk about this because like it follows a storyline, but it's also like very all over the place. And because of this is what I talked about on our Sweeney Todd episode, like with movies that are like strictly musical, like there's no spoken dialogue, it's very hard to follow. And this
Yeah,
movie is a perfect fucking example of what I was talking about with that.
yeah.
Like this movie is so hard to follow because the music is all over the place. The songs are all over the
Mhm.
place.
Yeah. The only thing that really helps it a bit is like at the start, you meet Shiloh or Nathan, and then like you'll have like a cartoon like comic book like
Mm,
picture that pops up and be like it has like the Roddy family. It'll be like, oh, here's Roddy's story, and then it will tell like his side of the story, and then it will go to, oh, here's Meg, here's her story.
hmm.
So it is kind of all over the place like that.
They kind of had like a Sin City feel to it with that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of the grave robber character? Did you think he was more of a romantic or more like a pervert?
Well, I mean, Shiloh's 17, so I'm gonna lean more towards a pervert.
Yeah, I think he was kind of a mixture of both.
Yeah, I mean, like he had women around him like that were more his. I feel like he was more like a playboy than a romantic.
You're right. Yeah.
So I think like he very much could have been grooming Shiloh to be like one of his like ladies that he has with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to say he was like a creep because like didn't he wasn't overbearing with it, but I feel like the undertones were definitely there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always wondered how Shiloh escaped from her bedroom because there's like a few scenes where she like managed to escape,
Mm-hmm.
but like Nathan always locks her in the room, and then she like you can't go out the window because there's bars on it basically.
Yeah, I feel like one scene showed her getting out, but I can't remember now what it was. Yeah, I don't know if she had like some sort of a like crawl space that went out of her
Mm-hmm.
room. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so throughout the whole movie, Roddy is dying basically, but he doesn't tell any of his kids that he's dying, but that he'll be given away, like writing someone's name in the will,
Mhm.
or so whenever he does pass, they get it.
And he fucking hates all three of his kids.
Oh, he does, yeah. He can't stand them. Like Amber is just hooked on surgery. Like by the end of the movie, her face is like falling off.
Mhm. Literally.
Yeah. And Pavi, like he just keeps changing faces, like he's fucking Leatherface.
Yeah, see, that's an interesting thing with Pavi's character is he has constructed himself so that he is able to change his look like how someone would change their hair or their clothes or something like that. Like he has hooks. So his actual face has been cut off and he
Mm-hmm.
has hooks all around his face. And then he'll just like take someone's face off and fucking put it on,
Yeah, yeah.
which is wild. Like, yeah, like you said, it's like literally Leatherface, but less creepy, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. And then
You
Luigi is just like he just
psychotic.
kills people all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, just for the shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
Luigi's or Pavi's character would be like a really cool Joker,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, yeah. I
Like
can see that.
in some sort of like alternate universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So Meg is going to pretty much has to have to get rid of her eyes because it was in like the contract she signed, like in the fine print.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nathan ends up quitting being Repo Man, and then Roddy sends the goons after him, but he just fucks people up.
He quits being the
Um,
Repo Man because Roddy wanted him to take Meg's eyes.
yes, yeah,
And Meg and Marnie were good friends, like how we mentioned before. So he
yeah,
kind of refused to do it.
yeah, and he like they were Meg was best friends with Marnie, and he told Meg that Shiloh actually died,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole situation's really fucked.
It is, yeah, yeah. So yeah, everything's like pretty much coming to a head at the final like opera stage with Meg singing. I did love at the end whenever Meg like says like I would rather fucking die than, well, I guess she's probably gonna die anyway, but she'd rather die of her own hands. And like she has like these long nails and she just sticks them in her eyes and just pulls them out. Like it did
Yeah.
not look great at all, but
No.
I
It
thought
was
it was cool.
It was a sick statement that she let out.
Yeah. And then yeah, Roddy just like cuts the rope and she falls and gets impaled on the steel fence.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was really cool too, because like we know she's up in the air and we see him cut the rope, but I was like, she's like 2 feet up in the air, like she's not, that's not going to kill her. And then
Yeah.
she landed on like the wrought iron fence, and I was like, oh damn, like
Yeah.
that was brutal.
Yeah, she looked like Evanescence.
She did,
Yeah,
big time, yeah.
big time. And so yeah, at this point, Shiloh has no idea that Nathan is the Repo Man.
Mm-hmm.
And Roddy is kind of telling Shiloh that he has a cure for her,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think he really does.
Well, I think he's waving that over her head.
That's what I think too.
Well, and I think the cure too is outing Nathan, because Nathan's been poisoning her this whole time. So if he stops poisoning her, chances are she's gonna not have that sickness anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's what his cure is for her.
Okay.
Is
Right.
just putting Nathan out in the open.
To basically get Nathan killed and then she won't
Mm-hmm.
be poisoned anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Shiloh has to get the Repo Man to get the cure, but she doesn't know that Nathan is Repo Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, the final like stage scene, all like the kids come out, they like want it, and like Roddy's like, like I fucking can't stand you
Yeah.
people, I hate you.
You all disgust me.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, he ends up killing Nathan, and then he leaves Jinko to Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he ends up dying from his terminal sickness, I guess. And then she just kind of like walks out. So what do you think happens with Shiloh at the end?
I think she just leaves,
Yeah.
because the grave robber says later that Shiloh turned down the inheritance, right?
Yeah, because Amber gets it.
Yeah. So I think she just wants like nothing to do with any of it. Her dad's
Yeah.
dead now. Her mom's dead. Like she has nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She can't even go with Mag anymore because she's dead.
Yeah.
So I mean, you either live on the street or go somewhere else. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's only 17 though, so who knows?
Yeah. From the kills we did see, what did you think of them?
Um, some of them were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the gore was actually really well. I can't really dive too much into it. Some of the kills were very good.
Yeah.
I really liked Meg's eye thing, even though that wasn't a kill and it
Mm-hmm.
looked like shit, but the whole concept of it was super cool. Like she says, she'd rather be blind than to live under his contract, kind of thing,
Yeah.
which I thought was like a nice way for her to take a stance, even though
Mm-hmm.
she dies like literally seconds after.
Yeah.
But it was just like it was good to see her like say fuck you to Roddy.
Yeah. I really like the opening song with I think is it the grave robber singing it?
Yeah.
When he's like talking about the Repo Man and like their girl's running away from him, and then
Mm-hmm.
she's like in the elevator, just like slits her throat and then just like tears her heart out.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another kill at one point too where he cuts the guy's spine out. And
Yeah.
I thought that was sick.
Yeah. And it has like a little barcode on it, like just
Yeah.
checks it to make
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, the director, he when this first came out, like he like because people consider this like a cult classic movie.
Yeah.
Um, and like at the time, like he just wanted something like original and like new. Like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't want, like, do people really want to watch like just go watch a remake again? Or
Mm-hmm.
because at this time I think Prom Night came out. So he's like, do you really want to go watch Prom Night
Or
instead of like, yeah, or a
another
remake?
zombie movie.
Mhm. And like he told people like, go on, like if you watch it, go online and like if you didn't like the movie, like bash it, like
Mm-hmm.
give me feedback, like at least give it a chance. Like
Yeah.
that's all he wanted, really. Like if you didn't like it, just go on and internet and like bash it or talk shit
Mm-hmm.
about it, like whatever. At least give it a chance.
That's admirable.
Yeah.
But like, I like him as a director. Like, Saw 2, 3, and 4, and Spiral were good. Like, they were all right movies. Like, they weren't
Mhm.
terrible. I don't think I've seen any. Well, I've seen Tales of Halloween, and it was okay, but I haven't seen his other ones. But I mean, it's not like he's a bad director. And like, yeah, okay, you had a vision and you took a chance at it. I personally don't like it.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, people do. So
Yeah,
I mean, good on him.
yeah, yeah. Like he even said, like this movie's not for everyone, you
No,
know.
no.
So yeah. Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to mention or talk about?
The the very end scene, it has the grave robber um reading like a newspaper or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentions that Shiloh turns down the inheritance. Amber takes control over Jinko, and she auctions off her face that fell off during the opera. And Luigi killed the top three bidders, I think it was. And then Pavi ended up buying her face like at the auction, and now he wears her face, which I just thought was so funny.
That's great.
I just thought it was, I don't know. Like, it just goes to show how fucked up Pavi is.
Yeah, yeah. He was aware of his sister's face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, other than that, no, I don't have anything.
Cool. Well, that's the way the Zydrate splatters.
Ooh. I liked the color of the hydrate.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
me too.
I'd get addicted to that.
Mhm.
Nice bright
Yeah.
neon blue. All right, you ready to rate this movie?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did you rate it?
So for the story, I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I said it was an original story with gothic undertones. I thought the acting was pretty good. Most were great at singing, but there was a few I thought stunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
6 out of 10. And quality gave a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I said the set design look of this movie is great. The CGI is pretty terrible, but the special effects were decent. And yeah, that's it. So 6 out of 10 and 5 out of 10.
All right. I gave my story a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
That's why I chuckled. I said it's a really cool concept with a lot of potential, but sadly, this movie, in my opinion, would be so much better as a non-musical or better seen as an onstage performance. The premise of the movie is very unique and honestly a story I've never seen before, but it fell short for me with a poor script, poor lyrics to the songs, and a few other things that will be listed down below. The whole movie really felt like a stage performance without a stage, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, for me, it didn't really work.
Yeah. I mean, the last like 15 minutes had a stage.
Well, okay. I meant like as a whole.
I know.
My quality, I gave it a 3 out of 10. I said the special effects and the gore were done fairly well, and the costume design was awesome. But those are honestly the only things that I really liked about this movie, quality wise. Uh, this is contradicting what you said before, but I said I personally feel like they just decided to cast popular names in that time without even checking to see if they could sing. Remember when Paris Hilton released a few songs and no one could take her seriously? Yet here she is in a musical. Sarah Brightman is a trained and famous opera singer, and it obviously shows, but her skills made everyone else look like karaoke night at your local dive bar. The songs themselves were awful for the most part, and honestly, man, like I was getting mad watching this movie because I was
Oh,
just like,
really?
this is so shit. And if I didn't have to watch it for this episode, I probably would have shut it off.
Yeah.
Like I didn't enjoy it. I watched it once. That's all I need to watch, and I will probably never watch it again.
Fair enough.
Unless we're guest spotting on a other podcast and I have to watch it. But
Yeah.
yeah, was not a fan.
All right. Fair enough. So Letterboxd has a 3.1 out of 5. I gave it a 2 out of 5, and I haven't put yours down yet, but I think you said it was the same as mine.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it for that Letterboxd.
Nobody else rated it?
Not really worth mentioning, though.
Okay. You're not important.
Yeah.
I hope you're not following us. All right, you guys know our scores. Sit on over to Rotten Tomatoes and see what they've scored it. The critics' consensus: bombastic and intentionally gross, Repo, the genetic opera, has a unique style but lacks the wit and substance to be involving. So, what do you think the critics rated it?
I would say 37%.
You're close. 40%.
Damn.
On 60 reviews and a 4.6 out of 10 average score. The audience rated it a 73%.
Wow.
On 25,000 ratings and an average score of 3.8 out of 5.
Damn. All right.
Yeah. So, how you said it was a cult classic, you weren't wrong. All right, man. Is this movie or is this musical soundtrack a Grammy or a Razzie for you?
It is a Razzie for sure.
Would you give it?
So I gave it a 3 out of 10. There was just so many songs, hard to really remember or like any of them. I think the Spotify soundtrack actually doesn't have that many. I think it only has like maybe 15 or 18, I think.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah.
All right. And what's your one song to add to your Amazon Music playlist or Spotify?
So I kind of picked two, but for the one that I did pick, I picked 21st Century Cure, which
Okay.
is the second song sung by the grave robber
Okay.
when he finds Shiloh in the graveyard and he's like telling her about Zydrate and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other song that would be on my playlist if it didn't have Paris Hilton in it was Zydrate Anatomy.
Okay.
Just I think like the opening song, like with the grave robber, is like you take this little glass vial and blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and then the stuff with Shiloh, but then like Paris just totally ruins that song for me. What about you?
I also said it was a Razzie. I gave it a 2 out of 10. I said I hated 95% of the lyrics and the vocals were just as bad. The music was good, but terrible singers and songwriters.
Yeah.
Like instrumentally, I really liked a lot of the songs. Like a lot of them were like rock anthems or rock ballads and stuff like that. Like they had a good feel to them. But
well, it's interesting because the short movie of this has a fairly high rating.
Okay.
I think it was like the short has an 8 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called? Just
the same thing, Repo the Genetic Opera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes long. It has Michael Rooker as the Repo Man.
Oh.
Yeah. Shawnee Smith is in it, actually.
Really?
Who was from the Saw movies, obviously. Yeah. And it's directed by the same dude. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I might check that out.
Yeah.
Cool. My one song,
Yeah.
you kind of talked shit about it earlier, but Alexa Vega's 17 song. I can't remember what it was actually called. I know it was a weird placement for the song and like it kind of transitioned into it really weirdly, but it was like a cool punk song for that era. And Joan Jett as her guitarist, like I was like, wow, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't hate the song. Lyrically, it was terrible because she was just like a girl singing about how she's 17 and it's so much better than 16. And I was just like, the lyrics are awful, but the song as a whole, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready for that scarier section?
Yes, sir.
All right. What'd you give for a scare rating?
So scary, I give it a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
Not scary really, but there is some really cool and grotesque kills, and like the practical effects look really good. So 2 out of 10.
Nice. Scary scene.
Scariest scene. Probably go with like the one you mentioned, like the guy who's taking out the guy's spine out of his back.
Okay.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And also Pavi's pretty fucking creepy too with his face.
I love in that spine scene, he's on the phone with Shiloh.
Yeah.
Like he's talking to her about taking her medication and shit while he's cutting this guy's spine out.
Yeah, because she's out somewhere, and then he hears something, and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" She's like, "Oh no, nothing." And then the guy's like screaming, and she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it's nothing."
Yeah. Would you survive?
Right now, me as like a 32-year-old, I think yes.
Okay.
But once I get older and start having to get some replacement organs, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if I win the lottery, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how much they charge for all that shit.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot.
Probably.
I wonder how much a kidney would be on the black market.
What about you?
My scare rating, I gave it a 3 out of 10. I said the concept is a pretty scary thought with surgeries being reversed and everything like that. And the gore was pretty well done for the most part. My scary scene, I said Paris Hilton's face falling off. Just like she's on stage singing and like you can see it like starting to come off on her forehead. And then she's like
so funny.
putting it up and then she bends over and just plops off. And then like she looks back up and it's all just like muscle tissue on her face and whatnot. Would I survive? I'm used to free healthcare. So if I got to pay for shit, I'm probably dying.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Welcome to Canada, bitch. All right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. Okay. Yeah. If you guys want to catch us on social, I guess I should say what we're doing next week, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Next week, our final week of March musicals. If you've been following along, I'm sure you thought maybe we forgot about this horror musical. But next week, we are going to be talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the godfather of horror musicals. I'm very excited to talk about this movie. I think it's going to be a great discussion. And I don't know, you and I have never really talked about it, like even in our personal conversations. Really. So I don't know what your thoughts are on it. You don't know what my thoughts are on it, but I mean, I feel like we can take a guess.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So tune in next week while we conclude our March musicals. 5 episodes of horror musicals. Crazy. March is almost over. That's nuts.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah. All right. If you guys want to catch us on social media, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook and now YouTube.
We're on the tubes.
We're on the YouTubes. If you click the link in our bio on Instagram, you'll find links to our TeePublic account where we have some merch. I've just added a random ass design for mugs and stickers because it didn't look good on t-shirts, but I was like, this looks kind of cool on a mug. But yeah, so we have a new piece of merch up there. There's also a link to our Patreon account if you wish to support the podcast that way. There's a link to our Discord channel, our YouTube account, no longer Twitch account, both of our individual Letterboxd accounts, and anywhere that you can listen to us. If you are watching this on YouTube, we are going to be doing live game streaming. We're going to be uploading videos of that stuff, and I don't know, I would like to include some other things too, but yeah, I want to have fun with this. I think it's a nice change of scenery, a change of pace, and
for sure
we can get creative with it for sure. But yeah, so
cool. Well, that's it.
Yep.
Talk to you next week, guys.
See you later.